Fratelli the Rugby Podcast. The Italian Rugby Podcast. Fratelli the Rugby Podcast. The Italian Rugby Podcast. The Italian Rugby Podcast. The Italian Rugby Podcast.
Benvenuti. Welcome everyone to a new episode of Fratelli di Rugby Podcast. Today I'm without the other side of the beer because Mike is not here with me today, but I'm really glad that I'm not alone in this podcast because this is a special podcast, a Zebre edition podcast, and I'm here with the utility bag. Wherever you want to put it, it's great because a lot of victory together between Zebre and Scott Gregory. Scott, welcome. How are you?
Very good, thank you. Appreciate you invite me on the podcast to have a chat.
Yeah, you know why? I was always thinking we don't have a lot to chat. Not a lot. We didn't have a lot of opportunity to learn more from, let's say, the foreign players of Zebre. And this is a great opportunity to know more after almost 2 years you've been in Parma. So I'm going to just start from Parma. How is Parma in these days? Is it rainy? Is it already spring? How is life in Parma?
I'd say spring's definitely arrived. We've had a lot of rain, but the sun's out today. It's nice, chilly breeze, but enjoying some sunshine, so it's lovely. Okay.
I spent the last couple of days with snow here in Bulgaria where I live, so I really think about Parma, about spring in Italy. It's so different. How did you settle in Parma life, in the Italian bella vita, dolce vita for now?
Yeah, I guess it's definitely different to what I've been used to in New Zealand, but it's nice. It's a slow pace of life, and you guys definitely know how to enjoy yourselves. So there's been some awesome things, going out for aperitivo. Been loving our time here. No, it's wonderful.
Yeah, because you grew up in Whangārei, if it's correct the way I said.
Yes, perfect.
Oh, wow, nice. So growing up there, I think more rainy. Also, I saw some pictures, never been to New Zealand, but looks great, magnificent. And then you move down from the north to the south. So that is also interesting because you experiment a little bit more of what does it mean for you to change, because change is something that always been in your life. Changes.
Yeah, no, you're constantly going through changes. Whangārei is a lovely place, lots of beaches. The weather you can get 4 seasons in a day just about. And then moving down to south, it was a lot colder. But yeah, I love my time in both places, and they're very different from each other. They both have their uniqueness. So no, I love both places back there.
So there is a lot to say, but I will say I start dropping a couple of pictures because we already talking about your heritage and your history, because we want to know more about you. And between the first picture, you said yes, you moved. I don't know if everyone knows in Italy, but you played for Northland first because you came from that area. Even if you start playing 5 years old in another team, if I'm correct, which is Hwangārei.
Hwangārei.
Right? Yeah. Hwangārei, okay.
Yeah.
So from there, and then Northland 7, call for the younger under 20s All Black, Baby Blacks, 7 for New Zealand, a lot of stuff. How can you explain to us, to the European, to the Italians, what is Northland, the club means for you, and what is the culture in this team? Because we're always looking for these stories about cultural heritage of the team.
Northland has a really strong culture. Obviously, we've got like Tane Mahuta, which is the big tree that we have in Northland. It's about 2,000 years old. So that's in the crest of our Northland logo. It's a magnificent place. The culture in New Zealand rugby everywhere is very strong, and I think we do well with associating to the things in our area. For instance, Tane Mahuta, and it really helps drive community within the team. We love to get out within the community in New Zealand. We love going to schools, helping out businesses, people, people in need, all sorts of things. So the off-field side of rugby is very big in New Zealand. So I'd say that's a driving force in culture as well, because it gets the community behind the rugby team as well. So that's lovely.
It's interesting because I was searching for some pictures and stuff, and I also found many pictures of you with kids signing, talking with kids, which is great. Talking like, how can I give back to the team that where I grew up? Something, and that is a really nice way. And then, of course, during the games change, the professionalism of the sport is improving a lot, but the culture is still strong in a team, semi-pro, amateur, all this stuff. And for this reason, I get another couple of pictures that I'm going to share with you. One is with two former Northland players, Rainer Ranger, in this case, 2 games with the Crusaders, and Jack Godio that played last game sadly for Castres against Benetton. And also when you moved to Southland from north to south, when you scored, and of course there is also the former teammates all together in even celebrating together, let's say, because they know each other so well.
That's a funny shot. I was over the try line, and I got the ball whacked out of my hand, so they were telling me good job because I dropped the ball. So
you play for us,
really rubbing it in. Yeah, no, it's good. It's fun when you're playing rugby against former teammates and stuff.
And what is the biggest takeaway? Because we're talking about the Bunnings Mitre Cup, but also then there is all the Highlanders part that I put it in the picture that I showed before. Let's say really heavy charisma players into that team. Aaron Smith is one of them. Mitch Hunt, I guess, from just a viewer of Super Rugby, is one of them. And then, of course, you have Godio has been there, Ranger has been there in the team. Are these leadership really part of your journey? And what are the takeaways from players that you grew up with or that you have seen playing because maybe they have 10 years older than you?
Yeah.
How this reflects on your beliefs in rugby?
Hugely.
In mindset.
It's amazing. I guess looking at, say, guys like Rene Ranger, when I was a kid, I was watching him play. So it's amazing when you have someone like that who's so talented. Jack Goodhue, like all these guys around you, they bring such experience and knowledge back to the team when they come back from their super teams or the All Blacks or whatever places they've come from. And it's awesome to be able to learn off guys like that. You have those good conversations each day with them. So no, they're awesome on and off the field as well. For instance, Jack Goodhue's an amazing man with his faith as well, and so am I. So he was really cool to be able to get around and learn things from him off the field as well.
And moving from there was this big giant step, which is moving to Europe, because rugby is everything in New Zealand, almost everything. Can we say that?
Yeah, for sure.
Correct. Yeah. Oh, in Italy is a little bit different. What bring you to Zebre? How this opportunity came for you to move? Because it's something that almost unexpected in a certain way. You and Fetuli Paia to join Zebre in Italy. So how this came, the opportunity, the offer, how did it work?
Yeah, I suppose rugby, since COVID's happened, there's been a lot of squeeze on teams financially. So there's probably been an influx of extra players competing for smaller amounts of positions available. So it was very hard to get contracts really in that year when we transitioned. But we were lucky enough that an opportunity with Zebre arose, and it was an awesome opportunity to come over to Europe and experience some different kind of rugby. And yeah, it's been wonderful. I've definitely learned a lot since I've been here. The style of rugby is very different in the Northern Hemisphere compared to the South. I'd say a lot more structure and organisation. Whereas in New Zealand and the Southern Hemisphere, we're very free-flowing and just play what is in front, and sometimes defense can be optional.
Exactly. That was the thing for me, because usually the defense that when I see Super Rugby, always think about attack and big hits, but usually individual hits, and then of course when it's playoff time, it's slightly different, but still the soul of Super Rugby is still there. Attack,
For
Joga
sure.
Bonito style of play,
Yeah.
like Brazil, if we want to stereotype the style of play, or the Dutch, the crazy Dutch in the 70s with that kind
Yeah.
of style. But we see Zebre, it's really attacking style of there are structure, because we can see how you reorganize the shape when the ball came in the last 15 meters, and then depending how many forwards are in that in the breakdown, the shape changes, or many times you see Licata moving, Krumov moving, but there's also a lot of let's play, because this year wonderful try scored from you and the other your teammates this year.
See.
So how did it change, Zeb, in these 2 years? Because you've been with Roselli first year, when finally a couple of victories came, and now is Dolcetto Brunello. Just I'm mentioning more Dolcetto because it's more, I think, Beck's focus with you guys. So
Yeah.
how did it change in these 2 years in Zeb, the style of play, the confidence of playing? Because that is probably something too.
Yeah, I think the group's really come together, and the coaches have done a wonderful job at bringing everyone together so that we've been able to attack. We all understand the plan. Yeah, we definitely have come a long way, and you can see that we've been very competitive lately, which is fantastic. I think it's really come down to the unity of the team. And yes, there's been some finer details added in there. We're always learning skills and things like that. But yeah, I think we're learning to attack space more, and I think if that continues to grow, Italian rugby in general will really flourish.
And on the other side, the defense, the big switch for me in defense was how many players involved into every tackle. How the backing game was really quick, really fast. So probably is that also the key of that straight of results, talking about Ulster, Edinburgh, Dragons, where you were playing, because I mentioned to you before you were starting against Munster last year, another 2 games, you were there. So you know what does it mean. Losing, of course, but also winning with this team, which is great. So
For sure.
is it also defense, the approach on defense with Birchall worked better this year?
Yes, absolutely. No, our defense has been wonderful. We've been getting some amazing dominant tackles and some really high percentages in most of our games. And I think, yeah, again, we've been very connected. We've been one unit, and that's definitely our defense. Defense wins games as well. And I think everyone's brought on board to what the plan is. So Aldo's done very well there, yeah.
I'm going to drop a couple of questions from our followers, subscribers to the channel, because, guys, you can always subscribe to our channel on our YouTube, X, everywhere. So I have a couple of questions here. Same boring question, says Simone. Playing wing or center, how do you feel? Who are you? You are a fullback, you are a center, you feel a winger, because utility back is always, oh, I can play there, I can play there, I can play everywhere. But where you feel more comfortable playing?
I would say it in the centres, inside centre predominantly, but
wherever the coach calls
this year. So yeah, like you said, just play where I'm told, and I go out and give it everything.
Then I'm gonna drop some question. I'm like a tennis table ball now. Best cook in the squad wants to know, Kips. Who's the best cook? Yes.
That's a good question.
For the barbecue, I guess there is a big
for the barbecue, yeah. Some of the Argentine boys. I'd have to say, yeah, the asados probably goes to Paulo Bonfiglio does all right. I think he's really tried to adopt that, so now he goes pretty well there.
Okay, and who is the owner, the DJ of the team? When his locker room put music on, who is in charge of
Mohamed
music?
Haza.
Oh, Momo Haza, fresh of renewal too. Nice, good to know. Momo Haza. I thought maybe it was Fusco, maybe Fischio was one of them.
Yeah, Fusco jumps on too. Fatuli Paya as well.
Oh, nice. Good to know. So I'm going to ask him next. Good. There are some stuff, and I'm thinking about like how did you manage? Because now I'm gonna try to go a little bit more on what does it mean for a team, how to fight back when the results are not coming, because that is where you can see a player being strong mentally. Because so many times we see teams struggling, but then you see how much effort they're putting into the into the performance. Sometimes unlucky, sometimes individual aspects of the game they can change. So from this perspective, how was for Zebre turning the point, and also thinking about maybe with the Highlanders was pretty similar, the idea, different quality of the team, but still there was results were not there, and then they start coming. So how did you work on this? Because probably also your experience feeling something that you already experienced. How did it change? How you pushed in a positive way the team?
I think it comes down to belief, and don't worry, you always get nervous before games, no matter how old you get, in my opinion. But I think it's been able to show that you can go out and have confidence that you can go out there and win. Every game, it's a matter of who's going to turn up and want it more. So I think when we were going through that with Zebre, before we got a good streak of wins, we were getting very close results time after time. And
also last year was the same. Thinking about the first game of the week in Parma was pretty big.
Exactly, and it's quite gut-wrenching when you're so close but just missing out. So I think, you just got to keep believing and know that what you're doing is what you're doing right, and just look at those little things you can tweak to keep working on. But I think, you've got to stay positive. That's the 100% the biggest thing you can do.
Another thing is how much it helped to have Jack Dare this season and Pippo Drago in the team, having a different style of 10. Because Montemauri is working really well. Prisciantelli is a 10, 15, fantastic. All the stats are saying good stuff for him. But also having these two players coming in. Because on a side, you lose Zambonin for injury this season. But those two players coming, how much they help in the build-up. Dare is one of our best 10, thinking because Garbisi is out, and he really like to fix defenders and pass crazy passes. So how do you think about these players?
No, they've brought fantastic knowledge, especially coming from Benetton, and they've been wonderful. I love the way they play. They really attack the line, like to square up guys, like you're saying, and put guys away outside them. So it's awesome to have some attacking flair, and it's great.
How much you think it's changed since you were young? You're still young. You're 10 years younger than me. But how much it changed the style of rugby? Because also training a certain shape of rugby that maybe years ago wasn't a thing, like this stack of players, one behind the other one. Much more work for a winger that has to move all around all the time. Is not more the alone, the solitude of the winger on the side. Now it's something more. How this fit into your style? You said I'm a center. I feel to be more a center. So probably you know what does it mean. But in general, how you think this rugby is changing?
I think it's an ever-changing beast, rugby. You always got new people with new ideas, bringing innovation and different ways to get on top of attacks and defenses and things. So, it has changed a lot since I guess I left school or even was in school. We didn't run any shape or whatever you would like to call it when you got 1-3-3-1 across the field with your forward pack. It's come a long way, and I guess there's always someone trying to think of a new way to get on top of your opponent.
And you had also a really quality attacking coach, shape coach, Tony Brown, before, which is now we're gonna see what is gonna happen with South Africa with this shape. You're gonna see, you can see already something changing. But talking about coach, I know McLeod is another one that really meant for you because you moved also to Southland, also following a little bit of the tip from the coach saying, "Come here, come play," then you have also the reason to move south. But which one is the coach that shaped the most of your style of play or your strength, your mental strength in the game? Which one is the coach that helped you the most?
I'd have to say Tony Brown. He was great. He was always challenging me to look for new ways to improve my game, being a bit more proactive to seeing when people are going to break, get around people that are game breakers. Like he was a fantastic coach. Obviously, incredibly innovative. He's wonderful. He's probably been for me the most influential coach.
Talking about influences, you mentioned an article that I found from years and years ago. You mentioned two players that shape a little bit the style, who you are now. One, of course, is the big John Alomu, and the other is Brett Thorne. You're a back, which is great to hear about a rugby league, rugby union, and a coach too. Can you tell me a little bit more of Lomu? We know everything, but Brett Thorne, probably people a little bit underrated also because up here in Italy, you remember him as a player, but maybe not everyone follow the games, the Reds years ago. So can you tell me a little bit more why Brett Thorne?
First of all, he's a Christian man, so that was quite cool to see someone like that doing so well in rugby. And man, he's done amazing with winning just about everything he can across rugby union and rugby league. So it's pretty impressive when he's done all those amazing things. He's just a beast.
Do you like a lot rugby league?
Yeah, I've watched it on and off. I've actually never attempted a game. I once went in for a training session with the Warriors under 20s, but I didn't progress any further. I've never actually played a game of league. I would like to give it a go maybe one day, but it is pretty interesting. Very different to union.
But the influence of rugby league are so the amount of in defense, in attack, you can see it in the union nowadays.
Yes,
Even if people say no, it's not true. Yes, it's true. A lot of coaches.
There has been a lot of influence.
There is a lot of influence in that. I'm going back to a couple of silly questions more. Mike, my colleague, cannot be here. The other half of the beard of the pod is asking, who's the strongest back and forward in the team in Zebre now?
Strongest back would probably be Enrico Lukin. And
the mathematician. Okay.
Yeah, the mathematician. Yeah. You struggle to get him out of the gym when we have meetings. He's still in there trying to lift
is
things.
it a gym? You don't expect a mathematician to be a gym bro in a certain way.
No, you don't.
But he's the guy.
Yeah, for sure. And the forwards, I don't quite know off the top of my head, but I'll probably get a bit of slack for this, but I'd say it's probably Pitinari. Juan Pitinari.
Okay. Juan Pitinari, the prop. Always the props. Same question from another question from Mike. What was the biggest shock when you moved, apart from the language, when you moved to Italy? Biggest shock for you?
Probably the driving.
Even in Parma, I wasn't expecting that. I know Roma, but Parma, crazy drivers, huh?
Oh, I suppose the whole of Italy compared to what I'm used to. There's a lot more cars on the road too from where I'm from in the country. So, yeah.
And I'm going back to a little bit serious. We're going up and down, up and down. What is your personal ambition in the upcoming season and in general for you? What is the goal for you in the next year?
Well, I want to play rugby for as long as I can. I haven't secured. Yeah, I'm still waiting to negotiate of what will happen next season. So, yeah, I'm excited for what's ahead, but also it's daunting not knowing.
A little bit stressful, of course.
Yeah, definitely. But I'm all right. I'm just taking it a step at a time, and I just want to keep pushing and doing as well as I can with rugby. I still feel that my best days are well ahead of me. I've grown a lot mentally with rugby, had some setbacks, but I feel it's only made me better to deal with what's ahead. So no, I'm very excited for the coming season.
And you said you are a Christian, and I'm. It's a question that sometimes I ask to players: how much faith helps building your days in rugby? Because not a lot of players talk about this, but I'm really interested into knowing a little bit more.
Oh, I'm glad you asked. It's great. Like, I love getting into my Bible when I'm feeling a bit nervous before games. I have some verses that I'll read, and that it really helps me just calm down and remember that I can go out with confidence and go out there and give my best, and I'm going to be fine. At the end of the day, it is a game of rugby. As we are so competitive, we want to always do our best. But if we overstress on it, it can go out there and force us to do poor results. But I really do lean on my faith every day, especially on game days when I'm feeling a little bit nervous, sometimes more than others. But it has been a huge rock for me, definitely.
And you mentioned also, I think the stress is always there before the game, and this is helping you. But it's also nice what you said before about like your best days are ahead, like the better is coming. And thinking in general now, I was thinking, looking at this picture, you're from the under-20s playing in Argentina. If there is an opportunity to play in an Argentinian club, would you take that opportunity in the future? Maybe when you're 36.
Yeah,
but
maybe.
Because I know you are so connected to Argentina for your wife, but
Yes.
it's another way to live rugby that probably also we Italians don't understand so much. You know much more than us because you've been there doing a World Cup under 20. You married an Argentinian girl. So how you feel about how crazy they went?
No, they're amazing. I'd love to go play in Argentina. I think it's incredible to see how well Argentina as the country has done in international rugby, considering they don't have teams playing out of well, other than club rugby and stuff. They don't have any professional. Yeah, in any professional competition. So it's amazing how they can come together and play so well. And obviously we have a few Argentines in our rugby team in Zebre, and they're all class. They're all amazing players. So you can just see they have so much passion and they love playing for their country. So yeah, enough of an opportunity popped up, that would be wonderful.
As an Italian, I'm a little bit sad that I saw Geronimo going in training camp for Pumas after 3 years. We were waiting something different, but I also have this picture with another former 7 player like you, because you play for the World 7 Series and Stavile played the 7 Series too. Tell me a little bit more about this hybrid kind of player, because he runs like a back, but he's a forward. And
mate, he has more pace than I do, and I'm on the wing.
And Geronimo, you think because many like 1 year and a half ago, talking with Dave Ceci, we had him on the pod many times. We were talking who is one of the most skilled players in Zebre. 2 years ago, almost, he was saying Prishantelli is the one.
Yeah,
but
for sure.
It is what we see. He put the same effort in the training.
Yeah, he's always. I love Geronimo. He's wonderful. He's always willing to have a go. And like at trainings, not everything goes right, but mate, he just carries on. He just always has a crack, and I think that's something to admire about him, because none of us are perfect. But mate, he keeps going. So he just keeps trying things that it comes off, and you see in all the games that we've been playing recently, he's been amazing, absolutely amazing.
It's so interesting, the backline that you have now, because you grow up in the game a lot in the last months, more than before. We see also the results. We said when you win, your eyes are blue. You became blonde. If you have dark hair, everything is beautiful when there is a victory, right? But on the other side, also Fetuli did the same, and there is all these things coming because the Jesse brothers. Our here Kula, another crazy player, because they are all steppers on the side, and the other one big finishers. How did you see the balance in this backline? because we saw what they show us during the game. We don't leave the training, but what about this youngster? Because they are the one they want to push for the national team for us, for Italy. How did you see?
No, I think trainings are great. The whole group's really pushing each other, and I think when you have depth like that, it's wonderful that you can be able to slot people in, change them out, and it's like nothing's changed. So I think from the most experienced players in the backline to the younger guys, there's a lot of experience there. There's lots of learning still to come, but it's competitive, and then when an environment is competitive, it drives everyone to be better. So that's really what's happening.
Now, quick questions. Now, one is let's try to build up together your favorite rugby player. We're gonna put the heart of a player, the brain of another player, the hands of another one, the tackle, so the shoulders of another one, and the boot, the kick. Okay. So I'm gonna give you time to think about this. I'm going to another thing, so maybe it's gonna help more. The toughest player that you met in the field.
Toughest player. Ooh, there's quite a few. Probably have to be Artie Savia.
Okay. We always end with Artie Savia, no matter what, he's always in the top, which makes sense, totally sense.
Yeah.
And the more skillful player that you have seen on a pitch, and you share the pitch with him, because it's different than the player you play against.
Yeah.
One of your team, you have Aaron Smith, and we know that. Talking about skill, but there is another one that
I'd probably have to say Geronimo Prescintelli. He's pretty skillful.
Another endorsement for him, and the most underrated player, because sometimes we don't see that. Talking about Jack Ferrari, mentioned as Di Bartolomeo when he was injured. Di Bartolomeo is good. Di Bartolomeo is good. He said to us this. So who is a player in Zebre, or maybe he's still playing or he's not playing anymore, that you think he deserved more than what he got?
That's a really good question. Tommaso Di Bartolomeo is an amazing player. Just going off the top of my head, he's a workhorse, and he's come in leaps and bounds out of nowhere from the preseason of the start of this year to being, like a favorite hooker for us. So he would have to be one for being so improvely, or coming out of nowhere in preseason and doing such a great job.
Fantastic. So now we can go to the perfect rugby player of Scott Gregory, the brain. Who's gonna be the lucky guy to put the brain into this hybrid player?
Is this like all-time rugby players or
all time? Your favorite one. If you have to build it up, a Terminator player, a Rugbinator.
Right.
Which one?
Okay, we'll go with Tony Brown for his brain.
Tony Brown. Oh, okay. So now the hands, skillful hands, pass. Which one is gonna be the player?
Ooh. Yeah, who's had some slick hands?
I'm throwing at Zach Debreceni just because you play with him, and it was so crazy to see dropping some passes.
Yeah.
Just for that reason, I'm putting it there.
Yeah, no, chucking in there. Yeah.
Yeah? Okay.
Yeah.
You mentioned Savea, but who is the biggest tackler that you have seen on the field, or do you love to have play without your favorite tackler? Tackle
machine. Fratelli Paya has been making some pretty serious hits this season, so I'm actually going to have to go with my mate there.
Nice. Highlanders and Zebre Fratelli. The boot, the kick.
The boot. Oh, you've said Jack Debreceni once, but I'd actually go with him twice because we'll change it up. We'll go Lorenzo Pani. He's got a massive kick on him as well.
Lolo Pani, so, yes. Yeah. Long dynamic boot. Hopefully he's gonna be soon back in the field after this second injury with the arm. Okay, and then the heart.
The heart. Might go with Mitch Hunt. Small guy, but man, he gets out there and gives it heaps. So yeah.
wonderful style of kicking too. I remember the position starting to kick was interesting. Was different than not so usual. Great. So we have this is an interesting player. And if we have to put him in a team, where we're gonna put this player in the team, this hybrid player, into Zebre, into Northland, into Southland, into Highlanders, where we're gonna put him?
We'll have to chuck him in Zebre because that's where we are, right? So.
Fantastic. Where should we call somebody now? Mr. Tony, we should sign him up now. Interesting player. And if you, it's going to be the last couple of questions, Scott, and I'm going to leave you, and thank you again for the time. If you have to talk to yourself when you were starting in Whangārei, what you can say to that kid that start playing at 5 years old?
I'd just probably tell him to get out there and just keep trying to focus on getting better yourself, and not probably worry too much about what's going on or whether or not you get selected, because that can sometimes be very challenging. I'd just say go out there, worry about getting your rugby game better, and the rest will take care of itself.
Fantastic. And the last question is more actual, more news, because news of 1 hour ago for us, for fans, podcaster, is about Fischetti leaving at the end of the season, moving to Northampton Saints. Can you share with us something, couple of words about Fischetti as a captain in the team, as a rugby player? I don't know if you get along, but in general, I know a prop and a winger, they are far away from each other usually, but what can you give us about feedback?
No, he's wonderful. He's a natural born leader. He leads with actions on the field. He always gives it 110%. He's a weapon of a player on the field. Very athletic for a prop as well. He gets around really well. Like, some props are quite big, but he's not the biggest prop, but he's very versatile. So no, he's wonderful. Wish him all the best.
Wish the best. I'm a Gloucester fan, so I hope the best, except 2 games next season. That is another situation for me. And Scott, thank you so much for the time that you spent with us. 37 minutes. I stole you a little bit more of time, but it was a pleasure to know a little bit more of you, because we saw you in the matches, scoring tries, defending, and everything, but we never had the opportunity. So thank you for Zebre to give us the opportunity. Thank you to accept the invitation, which is great.
I appreciate it. Thank you so much for your time.
Stay with me a second. I'm going to say bye to you, closing everything. So guys, if you want to follow us, Fratelli di Rugby Podcast, the Italian Rugby Podcast, X, Instagram, YouTube, help us growing. Ciao a tutti. See you next episode of the podcast.
Fratelli, the Rugby Podcast, the Italian Rugby Podcast. Fratelli, the Rugby Podcast, the Italian Rugby Podcast. The Italian Rugby Podcast, the Italian Rugby Podcast.